We'll probably see some pretty heavy hail. That was about the worst it got. The winter had a lot of snow, but hail for sure was probably the worst we had. I for sure loved the sushi in Reno. Thought it was great. That was a huge favorite of mine. I also really loved Reno's tri-tip. They had a lot of steak and other stuff like that. They just did so well. They always had A1 sauce. Loved that. But another huge thing I noticed about Reno was that everyone ate avocado. That was like the big thing to do. So you put avocado in your salads, you put avocado on your burgers, and you put avocado with your eggs, and just like anything you could put it with, they just had tons of it. And so I started to really love avocado. So those were probably the three biggest things I came to really love. Probably the most different. Nothing really was hard to eat. I mean, it was a pretty traditional area, but probably one of the most fun things I had was different kinds of antelope, bison, stuff like that. Things that you don't normally get to eat, but a lot of folks there did. We had a lot of antelope and other things that came out from the woods. We also had a lot of hunters, so they would frequently show us the skins of cougars they'd hunted, or bears, wolves, all sorts of stuff. We wanted to go up to a northern part of Reno that's just kind of out in the sticks that we wanted to kind of tackle. No one's really touched it before. It's a little hard to get to, and there's not a lot of people there, but since it was an untapped area, we wanted to see who we could find to teach. So we went up north into this area and had a lot of trouble getting to people's homes. Got to one where we found someone who was actually pretty receptive, pretty open to at least praying with us and learn a little bit more about our message. And so we spoke with her for a little bit. And as we were praying with her, heads down and bowed, we hear a couple of trucks pull up behind us. And it's filled with men that don't look super happy to see us. And they immediately threatened us and said some things they probably shouldn't have, wanted us off the place and like out of the whole area. Not just from their house, just gone. And so we tried to talk to them for a little bit, and they were not interested in speaking to us. We're convinced that we believe in a different Jesus than they do, and we're going to tell us all about it and lay down the hammer. And so after trying to kind of reason with them a little bit and explain what our purpose was to share about God's message, they literally threatened our lives, just about chased us out, and we didn't really come back to the area. Probably one of the craziest moments I've had. Most people weren't that extreme, but that was by far one of the weirder ones. So one evening, my companion and I were just finishing up with an appointment that we had. We were heading home. It was getting late, and we decided to take a different route home than we typically do. As we were walking down this road, kind of felt an impression that we needed to keep going straight and then take a left, and so we did. And we actually ran into a young couple that we had seen outside before that we really hadn't had a chance to speak with. And we recognized them and thought, hey, we really got to go talk to these guys. And we went and talked to them, and it was kind of rare to meet young people in Nevada who wanted to have some sort of religious discussion. And it was kind of cool that they were living as a couple. That was difficult to find. And so we went and talked to them and shared with them the message of the plan of salvation, gave them a pamphlet, and had a prayer with them. It was actually a really neat experience. They were both not only just excited to see us, but happy to progress and keep seeing us. And it was just kind of neat that a simple prompting to take a different route than we normally did would lead us to people who are prepared to hear the gospel. We later had a couple of different opportunities to meet with this couple, to share with them different messages, to invite them to church, all sorts of things like that. And it was just rewarding to know that even at the end of the day, after a long day of hard work, that the Lord will still lead you to those people who need to hear the gospel and are ready to get that. So I'd say probably one of the bigger lessons I learned was humility and learning to trust in the Lord. That was something I really struggled with before my mission. I just kind of had brought myself up in the idea that I needed to take care of myself. I can solve the problem. I can handle this. I can help them. And coming out of my mission, I still kind of had that mindset that it was about me changing people and not realizing that it was actually the Lord. And so I think one of the biggest lessons I learned was turning my full attention to God, really giving Him my heart, my mind, soul, and strength, and letting Him be the one that changed the people. We're the messengers, we're spokesmen, we're even symbols to people to a certain extent, but we are not the changing factor in their lives. What we bring is. and letting the gospel permeate their lives and mine in that kind of way really affected me in a lot of ways. I think that was a huge lesson. One of the other ones I learned, though, simply was just dedication, effort, obedience, things that just kind of stuck with me in that way. I learned to just really kind of get down and get in the grit and do it, to just be diligent, focused on work, but allowing other elements of my life to be blessed in the same way. I would just say that learning to be a structured, organized person was also huge for me. I'd say be prepared for harsh winters as well as hot summers. Some people just kind of think that Nevada is all a desert, and that is true to a certain extent. That doesn't change the fact that it's high desert, and when winter comes, it gets brutal. There's a lot of snow, there's a lot of ice, there's a lot of weather. It gets very cold. You want to pack for that. But in the summer, it gets brutally hot, and it's just steaming from the pavement. So you kind of got to be ready for both. So I'd say pack in such a way that you can kind of tackle both of those things. And people always had a saying in Reno, they said, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. So just be prepared for a lot of change and a lot of different kinds of weather that you're not expecting to see in that area, and you might be kind of ready for it. They were really genuine people. They might not come off that way at first because they're a little colder, but once you got to know them, they were really genuine. People in Nevada were very hardworking, and I really enjoyed that about them as well. And people in Nevada knew how to really develop themselves. Like I said, they were a little bit on the isolationist side, but it's because they knew how to take care of themselves, they knew how to work hard, and they knew how to develop things that needed to get done. And I found that pretty remarkable about them. They're a hardy people.